Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video today, Sony messed up kind of big, and also in a somewhat surprising way where even some people working with the company itself had no idea what was going on. Very interesting story to go talk about over there. As well, we also have some brand new sales figures coming out from other regions where the PlayStation 5 is actually doing phenomenal, and as well the overall best-selling games in other nations, and of course a brand new game that I'm pretty excited about. So a lot of fun little things to go talk about throughout this video. Hope you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy, and have a good brand new start to the weekend. I myself have a little bit of a rough one too as well. Hard thing to go and say, but I had a little bit of family stuff going on, so if you guys won't mind for my upload schedule, I know I've been kind of all over the place. I have been trying my best, but there's been so much stuff in the back end that's been affecting the schedules and everything on the channel, so I do want to deeply apologize on that. And there's a lot of stuff, so if you guys don't mind, so make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch down below. Thank you guys all so much for diving on in, and let's go and discuss kind of a crazy story that Sony accidentally did as of today. So funny enough, if you guys saw it, we actually made a video last night discussing the PlayStation VR 2, where everyone was saying that the PlayStation VR was a well-made console, console edition accessory. But the fact of the matter is that even everyone thinks the stats are good, the price point's pretty good, at least comparison to other VR headsets. There's a lot of things that were missing, and it just never really captivated the general audience, where things like the Meta Quest actually have outsold it 30-1, and a lot of my kind of big critiques in that video was on the idea of games, kind of Sony's lack of initiation, and also Sony's kind of a rough idea of how they kind of present themselves and work with the VR kind of ecosystem. Like if you're a big head like PlayStation, you almost need to lead the charge because you have the developers, you have the manpower, you have the money and funding, rather than like a random developer thing that may be working out of their basement, their garage, or just doesn't have enough money to sustain those AAA levels. And this is kind of even crazy because Sony kind of messed up as of today, and it's also kind of in regard that same thing on VR and brand new games as well. Where as of now, Sony accidentally released a game. They accidentally released Ultra Wings 2 VR to the surprise of even the developers of the game itself. And this kind of also ties into on the higher big level, where let's say for Palworld. Right now, Palworld's had a lot of issues with trying to go push like really random and kind of important updates on Xbox because they are a third-party developer, and essentially they have a lot of checks, imbalances, and code, and everything else they have to go through to make sure the game can get released, and as well as not like, a bug, Bitcoin miner, trying to go and flirt, and just put viruses on the console, or mess up the consoles, or mess up the operating systems, can break consoles. These things actually can happen with really faulty or bad or nefarious code. So it's kind of surprising when something like Sony will go and release games early. We understand why there's a good approval process, but this was ridiculous. Where Ultra Wings 2, originally released on October 22nd, receiving good views too as well. And on top of this too, they could also buy it up on Steam. And then to the surprise of the developers, also on the PS VR 2 as well. And what that means is that these guys weren't expecting this to even be released as of yet, saying in their own tweet in response, saying shadow dropping Ultra Wings 2 on the PlayStation VR 2 today was not on our 2024 bingo card, but well, here we are, which actually might have even worked out in their favor, mainly because for someone like me who just thinks that how crazy this is, sometimes there is mishaps, sometimes there are just issues, communication issues, or whatever it might go and be. Like, I understand it's the corporate world, and although PlayStation and other various things like Xbox or Game Pass do run a pretty tight ship, a lot of them aren't like the best ships out there. And that's intriguing because right now they are getting a little extra media attention, even from myself included, for free, because they're, had this random issue where Sony kind of did screw them on over. Now, it's not the biggest deal because the game itself does seem playable and is working, but at the same time, you almost sometimes want to have a specific marketing strategy behind a game. Sometimes you want to have a contract too as well, or sometimes you want to go release a trailer video, say, hey, we have a countdown, like I've seen countdown timers for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 days, or as well, sometimes you get like the pre-hype where people are excited. They want to see the game rather than shadow dropping. Shadow dropping is a bit of a harder thing to release, and while it sometimes does work, especially if the game is maybe more on the niche side, something like VR, you definitely want to market more. VR is very niche, and not many people have the PSVR 2, as we've kind of covered even on yesterday's video. Kind of an interesting topic nonetheless, but it sucks for these devs. Like, they did get kind of screwed over by PlayStation as a whole. Now, it's not the biggest deal, not the end of the world, but it still sucks to see. Saying BitPlanet expressed how how much shock as players when the game suddenly appeared in the PlayStation Store. The studio has mostly taken it in stride, which I respect, describing it as a shadow drop, despite how the sudden release has robbed the team of prior marketing, as I was going to talk about, for the new version. And typically you want to keep these things, whether it's for a state of play, you kind of sit on it for a month or two, whether it's for initial tweets, comments, Reddit posts, some people do AMAs, like Ask Me Anything, YouTube videos, features, or even there's sometimes things where like the social team needs to go plan up for these responses, or you have to give people updates, or if there's issues in testing. There's a lot of stuff when it comes to launching a game. So according to the devs, the patch is on the way though many players on the r/PSVR subreddit claim it runs well despite the lack of day one patch, saying I was surprised to see it and bought it immediately, being a fan the first. And I'm about to go check it out, yet this tweet has me worried. Was the unforeseen drop a bad thing? Should I wait? And they said it was unforeseen, but it does also say that there were some relatively minor issues that have been patched and are going to ship in a supposed day one patch. Obviously going to be like day 5 now, although the game is solid. So I give them all the best good luck I can give them, and I'm sure it's a little bit of an issue having to deal with this. They said when asked, the team did go confirm that the launch was entirely unforeseen. Fortunately, the team is not stuck with a broken game, and those who have jumped in are experiencing minimal issues. Sony hasn't even commented though on the matter, and has kind of kept these devs in the dark. Now, once again, I don't want to fully blame Sony, although it does seem like there are issues based on the devs' comments, and it sucks for the developers. Like that, sometimes like I've mentioned even in the article or my own thoughts, you do want to have this pre-launch hype. You want to have people do pre-orders. You want to have the algorithm pop off, and sometimes games like Steam, like sometimes maybe even 50 or 100 sales can maybe push your specific game into an algorithm that might put you on the top sellers. Like a top 25 seller is going to be a front page top seller on, say, Steam, or say in the PlayStation Store. If you end up on like the front page, you will probably get more individual sales. First, let's say you get the second page, and that also does go and drive towards pre-orders and marketing. So I kind of feel bad that even Sony got screwed over for these devs as a whole. But once again, thankfully the devs are taking it in stride. It's not the end of the world, but it still is sad to see. Now, a little kind of quick fun stories over here, where basically there's a brand new Genshin-like game called Wuthering Waves is now confirming its PS5 release and saying 90% of the game is basically done when it comes to the story. So developer Kuro Game is hoping to make a better impression, and overall the game itself does look really cool. And I'm always been a bit of a big fan of these types of Weebies type style games. Genshin, the art style, how it flows, everything. I think it seems kind of cool. Like you guys can kind of see a little glimpse of this over here as well for one of the game trailers. So it's kind of cool. They have people in the developer team kind of hyping it up, talking about it, and I've always been a big fan of these Genshin type style games. They've been doing closed betas, etc., to try to make sure the games are good, and apparently a lot of stuff will be coming out too as well for the open beta on February 7th too as well. Now, for some interesting stuff in Japan, the PlayStation 5 has been doing well and has even outsold the Switch. A lot of Switch games and also the Switch console as a whole, and here's all the big numbers for the past week or so. So Japan's always an intriguing spot because it does usually hold a lot of extra love towards a Nintendo Switch, saying basically right now, as of the Marvel Spider-Man 2, has actually won the lead as of right this second, and is doing very, very well in terms of their console sales. This is all on basically automated from Japanese, but saying the first place was Marvel Spider-Man with 30,000 sales, and top of the books too as well. There's also the Switch Monotaro Iron World. They also have Super Mario Bros. Wonder into third place, another code Collection to Memories, not really sure what this is, might just be random like JRPG type style games. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still in 5th place. I still don't understand how this game keeps on getting sales. A lot of other various Switch games, like the new Pokemon game, Switch Minecraft, Dragon Quest 2 as well, all doing very good, and even Pikmin. So it's crazy to go and see that Marvel Spider-Man actually did become #1 and has actually moved up even in the Japanese market. Now, another intriguing thing too is for the hard estimates for the hardware, saying the Switch sold around 4,000 units, very small, surprisingly, but it has around 19.7 million units as well. The Switch Lite also did, I think it looks like around 2,000 units. The Nintendo Switch as well did 30,000, the cumulative too as well. The PS5 though did 6,000, so comparison to the normal Switch actually did go and outsell, although with some people are kind of comparing that too as well with the digital editions too and PS4s, etc. But overall it did very good, while the also Xbox did a little bit less with the 1,400 units. So it's very, very intriguing to go and see how this is kind of going. Actually, I think if I somehow mess mess it up to. Basically 6,000 for this one, and then basically 4,000 for this, if you guys are looking at the numbers, I believe. So it's all around kind of weird stuff. The website's in like a weird translation, so don't mind that one. But either way, intriguing to go and see. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We appreciate you guys all so much for watching. We have the Twitter and Twitch down below. We'll be doing some comfy Power World stuff tonight, and hope you guys have a good rest of your weekends too as well.